bi-directional, and it's going to pick up on the difference, the difference of it. So yeah, welcome to our first vacation stream, where we are doing ASMR from the comfort of a shaker cup, because somebody forgot to pack their mic stand as well as their laptop charger. Thankfully, one of the guys here that I'm staying with was kind enough to order next day delivery for a laptop charger. So now I have the backup one, which will likely stay in the laptop bag. So this won't be an issue again. Oh, I'm so happy that I was able to get the stuff, because I have work to do that's been piling up since yesterday. Hopefully the audio quality is adequate. It's not going to be the binaural sound, the stereo sound that you guys have maybe gotten used to and enjoy. Unfortunately, we only had enough space for one mic. I packed that bag full of stuff to bring, full of stuff like gear for streaming and for work. But I forgot the most important parts. That's very, very much, unfortunately, on brand. But hopefully everything sounds good. Let me know what you think, please. You're probably gonna get more pops, more breaths. I don't have my pop filter, unfortunately. The cup won't allow for it. But I'll try to reduce that as much as I can with speaking. So hopefully everything will still be comfy, cozy. We do have redeems here now, which we put together. If there are any more that you're interested in, feel free to throw them out and we'll write them down, or maybe even add them on the spot. But for now, we're gonna do what we do best. And read some stories. Okay. Oh, I'm nice to the setup with reading and looking. We have one titled, "The Last Imaginary Friend." Since the dawn of human civilization, there have been beings who work in silence, hidden from the world's eyes, watching over the emotional and spiritual balance of the little ones. They are the Zerlin, invisible guardians of the child's soul. Their work, though secret, is essential. They mend hearts when a child loses a loved one. They inspire games for those who feel lonely. They cause happy coincidences, like finding exactly what was lost at just the right moment. Sometimes they even move objects when no one is watching. That's why there are videos where things seem to move on their own. They are also responsible for awakening the imagination. When a child creates an entire universe out of nothing with character maps, rules, there's almost always the Zerlin nearby. Their Leia, the world they come from, is a parallel dimension connected to Earth through natural portals, hollow tree trunks, empty nests, forgotten burrows, cracks in old rocks, bottomless wells, even school backpacks abandoned by children. Therlea is a shifting place, as if the landscapes were breathing, where time doesn't flow the same way it does here. There, Zerlin can clearly see fragments of the past, understand the present, and glimpse what is yet to come. In their world, they are respected sages. And here among humans, they're known by another name, imaginary friends. Only children under 15 can see them, and animals too. One of them, Milo, had just received a new mission to bring joy back to a 7-year-old girl named Amelia. Milo crossed the portal through a hole in the old tree in the girl's backyard. He appeared among the roots, shook the leaves from his woolen hat, and slowly made his way towards the house. He was just 32 centimeters tall. His appearance was simple. White beard down to his chest, equally gray hair, modest clothing, patched trousers, and old leather shoes that creaked with every step. He looked like he had stepped out of a forgotten storybook. He found her sitting in her room, eyes glued to a phone screen. Milo introduced himself with a gentle voice and a friendly expression. As protocol required, they must never scare the children, especially the sad ones. "Hello, Amelia," he said with a smile. "I'm Milo, and I've come to help you be happy." The girl glanced up for barely a second. Then she went back to her screen. "I don't need help," she replied flatly. "I'm sad because my photos didn't get as many likes as my friends, and no one comments on them. You can't help me with that." "Yay, welcome in, welcome in. Yahoy." Milo stood silently for a moment. He didn't fully understand what she meant, but something inside him sank. "What about your new puppy and your toys? We could go out into the garden. I could teach you a new game I learned 100 years ago. A 7-year-old girl like you shouldn't even have a phone yet." "That's boring," said Amelia, still not looking up, snapping selfie after selfie. "Besides, you can't tell me what to do. Not me or my parents. If they gave me this phone, that's their decision." Milo lowered his gaze, a sharp pain tugging at his chest. It wasn't anger. It was sorrow. An ancient sorrow, one that had been growing quietly over the past centuries. Children weren't like they were 300 years ago. He clearly remembered the days just a few decades ago, when kids would run barefoot through the fields, laughing just by pretending a wrench was a sword. A stretch? Oh, I forgot. I'm going to do this so you guys know what I'm reading. Let me do that stretch. Sorry for any weird sounds where we have a mic and a cup. I'm on vacation and I messed up. Thank you, Panther. Thank you. He remembered pillow fights, nights counting stars, cardboard castles in backyards, crayon drawings on walls, the tears over a lost stuffed animal, and the pure joy of finding it again. Back then, his job was to ignite the spark of imagination, to protect innocence. The children talked to him, asked him questions, invented stories together, and carried him in their pockets as the invisible friend who was part of their world. Now, most of them never looked out from their screen. Milo stood in the middle of the room, watching Amelia, feeling small in a different way, not because of his size, but because of the helplessness. It wasn't just her. There was something bigger, like a fog wrapping around many children at once, a disconnection. And though he knew he must not give up, he could not stop the wave of nostalgia from washing over him. He missed the days when a simple drawing could brighten an entire afternoon. He missed unfiltered laughter, games invented with nothing but a cardboard box and a good story. Milo sighed. Maybe his mission was harder than he thought. "If I take a picture with you," Amelia said, raising her phone, "maybe it'll go viral." Milo gave a sad smile. He knew that reaction well. "It wouldn't work," he answered gently. "Only you can see me. No camera can capture me. I'm invisible to adults and their devices. Only you, Amelia, can see me." The girl scowled with annoyance. "Then you could at least help me record a horror story, make things move on their own, stuff fall off shelves. That gets a ton of likes." Milo sighed inwardly. He understood that Amelia wouldn't seek happiness the way children once did. She wouldn't find it in branches, mud, and laughter, but in colorful hearts on a screen. He tried one last idea. He pointed to a corner of the room where an old dollhouse sat forgotten, covered in a layer of thin dust. "What if you turn off your phone for 1 hour? We could play with that house. I could be one of the guests. We can imagine it's a castle or a space station." Amelia didn't even glance at the corner. "No, stop bothering me with that. I don't want to play with those stupid toys," she snapped with disdain. Milo's heart tightened, not because of the rejection, but because of how she had said it, that harshness, that disconnection. He walked slowly to a shelf and picked one up of the stuffed animals. It had a slightly loose eye and worn seams. He looked at it fondly. In his hands, it weighed more than just fabric and stuffing. It held memories. He remembered how decades ago that very plush toy had been the prince at a tea party surrounded by childish laughter. Imaginary cupcakes and napkin tablecloths. He, Milo, had been the butler or the closest closet monster, or the best friend hiding under the bed. There was always a new game, always a new story. Now, everything was silent. He tried to leave the room and walk around the house. He went down the stairs, crossed the hallway, and behind a half-open door, he found Bruno. Bruno was a small mixed-breed dog, white fur, brown spots on his back and around his eyes, as if wearing a bandit's mask. His droopy ears gave him a sweet look, and his big, dark eyes seemed full of questions no one answered. He lay quietly next to a cushion, head resting on his paws. His tail didn't move. Milo approached carefully and stroked his head. The dog opened his eyes in surprise, and his expression changed. He tilted his head, and then his tail began to wag, timidly at first, and then with joy. He let out a small bark and jumped, as if suddenly remembering he was alive. Milo laughed and hugged him. "Hey, little one, you can see me," he said happily. Bruno began to run down the hall, wagging his tail so hard he bumped into the walls. Milo followed with a short, clumsy steps, laughing for the first time in days. They played hide and seek from behind the furniture, chased each other across the rug. Milo felt his soul light up again. For a moment, He felt useful, happy, whole, like before. He decided to bring Bruno to Amelia, and maybe, he thought, if she saw the dog's joy, something inside her might change. He found her still sitting, her face lit by the cold glow of the phone. "Amelia, look who came to play with you," said Milo, nearly out of breath. "Bruno is so happy. He wants us to go out into the garden. We could run, invent a story, have a race." Amelia looked up, annoyed. "Don't you get that? I don't want that," she shouted. "Leave me alone if you're not going to help me with likes." "Don't be mad," Milo said with a trembling voice. "Bruno just wants someone to play with. He's been so lonely." "I don't care. I don't want to see him, and I don't want you either. Leave me alone." Amelia jumped up. She began throwing stuffed animals, and one hit Milo hard on the cheek, knocking him off balance. Another hit Bruno, who whimpered softly and ran out of the room, ears down, tail between his legs. "I hate all of this. I hate my life," Amelia screamed, now in the grip of a tantrum that seemed bigger than her, as if it came from her very soul. When the echoes of her scream faded and the room returned to that heavy silence hanging from the ceiling, Amelia collapsed onto the carpet. Her face was flushed, cheeks red, heart pounding with rage, but also with something else, something growing slowly in her chest like a thorn. Guilt. Minutes passed with no words. No sounds, just the distant hum of a car outside and the soft ticking of a forgotten clock. Then Amelia lowered the phone. She looked at it. The screen was still open to her social media. Her latest post still had a few hearts or comments, just a few. She read the title of her video again, then closed it. She slid the phone to the floor and left it there, face down. She looked around. Stuffed animals scattered, pillows against the wall, and no sign of Milo. Something inside her loosened, like a rope finally untying. Suddenly, a clear image flashed in her mind. Bruno, tiny, wrapped in a checkered blanket that Christmas 2 years ago. He had a big red bow around his neck and couldn't stop wagging his tail as she hugged him and squealed with joy. She had promised to love him forever. She remembered how they'd play for hours in the yard, how she'd give names to every corner of the garden, and how Bruno seemed to understand every word. Sometimes he was a dragon, sometimes her battle steed, sometimes her camping buddy under the clothesline sheets. That first year was magical. She needed nothing more than a dog in her imagination and a bit of sunlight. Then the phone came, and the games changed. Amelia blinked, feeling a lump in her throat. She jumped up and shouted, "Milo, Bruno, I want to play. I don't care about this phone anymore." She ran around the room, searching between cushions and tossing toys, as if lifting them would reveal the magic portal her anger had just closed. That's when she saw him. Bruno, sniffing something beside the carpet. She approached, heart pounding. The dog was still, nose resting against a small, old leather shoe. It was tiny, worn with a slightly bent tip and a sole sewn many times. Amelia recognized it instantly. It was Milo's. She hadn't seen it when she met him. Bruno let out a small whimper. He lowered his head and wagged his tail slowly, as if he knew the magic had faded. She said nothing. She just knelt and hugged him tightly. The tears ran down her cheeks, silent and warm. "I'm sorry," she whispered between sobs. "I'm sorry, Bruno. I'm sorry, Milo." The little dog didn't move. He curled up against her as if he needed her too. And they stayed like that for a long while, in the middle of a messy room, with the phone on the floor and the old shoe in the hand of a girl who was starting to remember what it felt like to be happy without having to show it to anyone. It was a nice little story. Can you say I'm in your attic? I guess I just did, didn't I? Nyahoy. Nyahoy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Let me set down our cup mic for a moment. And get some water. Okay. Okay. Please keep in mind that this is a comfy, cozy say-so stream. Here's a science fiction one. We can also, if you guys would like, have some short chats between the stories. I definitely don't mind. Yahoy, Lux. Yahoy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. How have you been doing? We're on vacation, and we're streaming. I get to sleep with your help tonight. Great, good. I'm happy to help. Okay, let's see. This is titled The Last Backup. The Last Backup. Chapter 1. Initialization. It's been very nice. Day 2 is the first real day. We got the laptop charger in, so it's gonna be great. I can game and hang out and do fun stuff. While they're at work, at least. He woke in silence. Not the silence of peace, but the kind that rings just a little too loud in your ears. No hum of fans. No voice to greet him, no beeping console, blinking light, or spinning ceiling fan. Just a smooth white ceiling, and the number 12 printed across his chest in clean block lettering. Ah, Eloise. Good morning. Or have you not been asleep yet? He sat up, naked but not cold. His muscles responded like they remembered how to move, even if he didn't. His fingers flexed with precision but not intention. He had no name, no face in his mind, no memory of what had come before. But he knew how to stand. He took in the room. Bare walls, smooth floor, a platform that might have been a bed or a table or an altar. No visible doors, no mirrors. Just a narrow hallway branching out from one end of the room, its walls the same colorless white. He took the hallway left. first room he found was a bedroom, stark, clean, but lived in by someone with no personality. A single bed, a side table, a digital clock with no blinking colon, a closet. Inside the closet, folded clothes, socks stacked like they were printed by a machine, no colors, just grays, dark blues, and muted earth tones. He dressed in silence. The clothing fit perfectly. That bothered him more than it should have. The next room was a bathroom. Spotless, seamless, the mirror showed him a face he didn't recognize but couldn't reject. Strong jaw, tired eyes, black hair that felt like it belonged to someone else. He didn't brush his teeth, not yet. The toothbrush was there, brand new, the toothpaste untouched, the sink dry. He stood in front of the mirror for a long time. And the kitchen came next, perfectly organized. Everything was stocked, not a dish out of place. Cabinets full, fridge chilled and filled with food that hadn't been spoiled. He opened a drawer, every utensil lined up like surgical tools. He stared at the bread on the counter, still soft, still fresh. No crumbs, no mess, as if no one had ever eaten here, as if someone was about to. It was only then, after walking the loop, that he allowed himself to begin. He brushed his teeth, got dressed, made toast, ate it slowly, deliberately, and then he stood in the kitchen doorway, toast crumbs still on his fingertips, and whispered to no one. "Who am I?" No one answered. But he felt the question echo down the hallway towards something deeper, towards something sealed. The last backup. Chapter 2, Echoes in Motion. He walked down another corridor, wider, lit by strips of soft white pulsing faintly above the floor. Every few steps, another door opened with a soft click, no locks, no resistance. The gymnasium was first, massive vaulted ceilings, rubberized floor, a full-size court with painted lines, so crisp. It looked like no one had ever run them. He walked the perimeter, no balls, no equipment, just empty nets. A scoreboard forever at 0. A whistle hogging on a hook beside the exit. He left it untouched. Next was the indoor track, 1/4 mile loop, polished, clean, the scent of synthetic turf hanging faintly in the air, filtered and artificial. A memory without a source. He paced one lap, then a second. His feet moved without protest, no soreness, no resistance. The body was strong, too strong. Like it had never known struggle. The weight room came after. Racks, machines, place organized by size and color. Nothing out of order. No sweat stains, no chalk, not even fingerprints on the dumbbell. He touched a bench. The leather had no give, no crease. He pressed both palms into it and asked himself quietly, what was I building? The air didn't answer. Then the lounge. One long wall of screens, dark. Bookshelves lined with titles he recognized but couldn't remember reading. A kitchenette, a cold kettle in the center of the room. A single lazy boy recliner, faded brown, the cushions slightly sagged, the armrest worn. Thumb-shaped imprints like someone had gripped it over and over again. He stood over it. It was the first thing in the facility that looked movement, like it had been said in during silence, maybe grief, maybe waiting. He didn't sit. Not yet. Instead, he looked to the far end of the hallway, the only place left to go. I forgot to bring my book into existence. The door had no handle, no frame, no keypad, no label, just a seamless black panel flush with the wall. It didn't hum. It didn't reject him. It simply was. He approached, pressed his hand to the surface. Nothing. Not warm. Not cold. Not responsive. He stepped back, examined the seams, looked for gaps, lines, anything. You're hiding something. His words felt strange in his mouth. He spoke again, this time louder. What's behind you? Nothing answered. Not even his own echo. He stared at the door until his eyes blurred. It wasn't threatening. It wasn't locked. It just refused. And that somehow was worse. The last backup. Chapter 3. Routine and ruin. He began to search. Every day, the same pattern. Wake up, dress, eat, walk the halls, stare at the door. And each day, he returned to the lazy boy. The recliner was a scar on the facility's sterile perfection. It was too real, too worn, too lived in. He pulled the cushion up, checked the seam, slid his fingers under the padding. Nothing. He flipped the chair upside down, ran his hand along the frame, knocked on the wood for hollow spots. Still, nothing. If you were used, he muttered, then I was here. But the chair stayed silent. Day 6 was the first time he had spoke to the door, just once, just a whisper. I'm still here. It didn't care. Day 8, he woke up early. The lights had dimmed to near dark. The corridor was bathed in a dull blue. He moved without shoes. Soundless, slow. That's when he saw movement. Not human. Square-bodied, low-humming shapes with smooth limbs and small headless torsos, no faces, no arms. Just appliances with legs. One passed through the lounge, picked up a single breadcrumb from the carpet. Another adjusted the alignment of a kitchen drawer by half an inch. 5 total. They moved in perfect silence, without urgency or hesitation. He followed them as best as he could, keeping behind corners, breathing through his teeth. They moved to a wall across the weight room, one he had passed a dozen times. And then they disappeared. One by one, they stepped into the shallow indents in the wall. The space was no deeper than a locker, but they fit, compressed, folded, and tucked. And when the last one entered, the wall slid shut seamlessly, leaving no trace of motion. No lines, no outlines, no marks, as if they had never existed at all. He stood in front of the wall for a long time. Who are you cleaning for? Do you know me? Am I one of you? The wall didn't answer, but now he knew. Something was maintaining this place. Something was expecting him. And if the door wouldn't speak, maybe the machines would. The last backup, Chapter 4, The Unbreaking. He was checking the weight room again that day. Day 11, he thought, maybe 12. He didn't count days anymore. He counted questions. And today, the question was, why does a place this perfect have a broom closet? He had noticed it behind the squat rack, a nearly invisible seam in the wall. No label, no keypad, just a faint indent lower to the floor than the rest. He pressed it. A hiss of pressure, and the panel slid open sideways, revealing a maintenance room. Compact, industrial, dustless. Racks of cleaning solution, broken down vacuums, spare pipe fittings, and there, hanging from a magnetic mount on the back wall, a pry bar. He stared at it like it was holy, solid, weighted, simple. His fingers closed around it like they had done it before. He didn't run to the door. He marched, pry bar in hand, pulse climbing. He approached the smooth black panel, set the bar against the seam. "Open," he said flatly. "Now." He pushed. Nothing. He wedged it deeper, shifted his weight, pried with both arms. He grunted, growled. "I'm not asking." The bar creaked. The door didn't. He tried again. Then again, for 3 hours, switching angles, wiping sweat, screaming at it. He grabbed a 50-pound plate from the weight room and slammed it into the panel again and again and again. It didn't even leave a smudge. He stood there, chest heaving, pupils blown wide. "You're not stronger than me," he whispered. "You're just nothing." He dropped the plate. It clinged, rolled, settled. He lifted the pry bar like a spear and slammed the pointed end into the center of the door again, again, again. No dent, no echo, no damage. Just silence. His hands were shaking. He let the bar fall to the floor with a dull thud. And then he punched the door once, twice. A third time, hard enough to split the skin across his knuckles. Blood smeared the black surface. A fragile red echo of a man trying to remember he's real. He leaned his forehead against the door and whispered, voice cracking. "Why do you get to remember? And I don't." The last backup, Chapter 5, The Listener. He stopped counting the days. He only counted conversations with the door. It started slow. At first he said things like, "I know you're not alive, but I'm talking to you anyway." Then it turned into a confession. "I think I used to know what I was doing here. Sometimes I wonder if I was someone important. Other times I think I scrub toilets. I don't care which, just tell me something." The robot refused to respond. He stepped in front of one, it paused, redirected, walked around him. He picked one up. It made a low hum and kept walking midair until he placed it back down. Then it scuttled away like nothing had happened. "They don't see me," he told the door one night. "But you do, don't you?" He started eating meals in front of it, sleeping in the lazy boy and walking just to return. He cleaned the floor by the door himself, left it food, left notes. He knew it was absurd, but he also knew it was his only lead. On day 20, 30, he cracked. He sat cross-legged on the floor, back against the panel, eyes dry from staring, voice hoarse from talking. He yelled, "You win. You win, alright? Just give me something. A hint. A whisper, a single clue. Anything. Give me a hint." And then the voice answered. "Password hint. Why?" He froze. It didn't come from the facility. It didn't echo. It came from behind the door. Low, flat, genderless. A machine voice, but it had heard him. "What?" he whispered. "Nothing." He lunged forward, pressed his hands to the surface. Okay, why, right? That's the hint. That's the hint. He stepped back, closed his eyes, thought, and then he began guessing. A survival, a sanity, purpose, to fix something, to protect the facility, because I had to. No response. Because I asked. Because someone told me. Because I'm the last one. Because they all died. Because I didn't. Still silence. He shouted words until his voice cracked, whispered others through clenched teeth. Why? 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 Nothing. No green light. No hum. No change. Just that single devastating gift. Password hint. Why? The last backup. Chapter 6. Because. Fuck you. He stopped visiting the door. Not with bitterness, just emptiness. He spent his days in the lounge now, reading mostly. The recliner creaked with his weight each time he sat. Only sound in the world that he felt earned. He made tea, watched movies, laughed at the dumb ones, cried at the quiet ones, slept, ate, lived. He stopped asking why. 2 weeks passed, maybe 3. He was reading a battered old paperback, sci-fi, something about psychic hackers and genetically engineered cats. Stupid, but fun. And then he read a passage that made him bark with laughter for the first time in weeks. Damn it. Why did I have to write such an obscure password hint? Why? The man typed into the terminal. Because fuck you, that's why. Password accepted. He dropped the book, sat there, silently. Then, he started laughing. Hard. Deep. The kind of laugh that makes your ribs hurt. Because, suddenly, he remembered. Not his face, not his past, not his mission, but his tone. That's me, he whispered. That's exactly the kind of stupid shit I'd do. He ran down the hallway, past the gym, past the weight room, past the cleaning bot that nearly bumped into him for the first time ever. He skidded to a stop in front of the door. Heart pounding, sweat rising. He pressed his hands into the surface, closed his eyes, and entered the password. The panel beeped, a line of golden light traced down to the center. The door split open, and he stepped forward, not as a number, not as a machine, but as a man. The last backup, Chapter 7, Transmission. The hallway beyond the door was dimmer than the rest, cool blue lights among the ceiling, floor humming softly underfoot. Rows of severed servers lined the walls, red and green lights blinking like electronic breath. He walked past data panels, glass walls, suspended cables. He saw himself reflected in the dark glass. Still 12, still lost, but ever closer to understanding. The next corridor was lined with alcoves, and in each stood a robot, the same kind as the cleaners, still upright, ducked into the walls like tools awaiting orders. One of them shifted slightly as he passed. Headless body. Where we at? Sorry. Still upright, docked into the walls like tools awaiting orders. One of them shifted slightly as he passed, headless body twitching as if detecting proximity. Then it stilled again. He didn't stop. The hallway opened into a circular control chamber, nearly 40 feet across. At its center, a raised terminal platform. At its edges, a ring of floor-to-ceiling windows, and through them, the outside world. He stepped forward, breath catching in his throat. Grasslands, rolling, windswept, blue-tinged fields. No structures, no animals, just quiet, growing life beneath a blush-colored sky. It was beautiful. He approached the door leading out. As he neared, it pulsed red and spoke. Warning. Terraforming is not complete. Exit not permitted. Current progress, Planet XXII 124, 98.2%. Estimated time to completion 5 years, 7 months, 10 days. He blinked. Planet XXII 124. He tried to remember Earth. Couldn't. Nyahoy. Nyahoy. Hi, Newt. Your voice sounds particularly deep today. How you doing? I'm doing fine. Part of it might be because I'm using a cup to hold the mic, and I think maybe you're used to hearing me like a little bit more like right here, and with having the mic or holding it, I can get like a lot closer to it. At the sacrifice probably of some model stuff, so maybe my model looks a little bit silly. I'm also like talking a lot softer, a lot quieter, because I'm closer. So I think it's like picking up more of the undertones of speaking softer, and yeah, I think that's probably why. I don't know if this sounds a little bit more like what you're used to, but we're doing some soft talkies. Yeah. Hope you're doing well though. Are you feeling any better? I hope those little guys have been taking it easy on you lately. If you feel up to it, Please let me know how you've been. He turned to the center terminal and tapped the screen. It flickered to life. A man appeared. His own face, his same eyes, but the number on his chest. 1. The recording began to play. First day of arrival. I know they say that this would take 12 lifetimes, but the fact that they sent me 12 clone bodies to use was unexpected. He laughs. Guess they really wanted me to finish the job. He stared, not just at the video, at the presence of it, at the familiarity, the voice, the tone. That was him, and also not him. He scrolled. Hundreds of recordings, some logs, some personal thoughts, some just staring into the screen while sipping tea. On the corner of the interface, an icon. He tapped it. A data list appeared. Subject 1. Lifespan 78 years. Deceased. Old age. Heart attack. Subject 2. Lifespan 83.5 years. Deceased. Old age. Liver failure. Subject 3. Lifespan 69.2 years. Deceased. Asphyxiation. Crushed trachea. Video available. He tapped. The footage played. Subject 3, his body broader, stronger, his expression confident. He gripped a barbell. Heavy, over 600 pounds. Lifted, clean form. But on his third rep, his hand slipped. The bar had crushed his throat before he could even scream. End of transmission. He stared, breath frozen in his lungs. Subject 11. Lifespan 92.3 years. Deceased. Slip and fall. Memory chip damaged. Video available. He tapped again. The screen shows 2 robots entering a hallway, scanning a lifeless body. Him. Again, older, thinner, a cane beside him broken in half. They lifted his corpse, scanned the back of the skull, the chip, cracked. They removed it and ran it through analysis. A progress bar appeared. Replication attempt 76.9%. A new chip formed. Inserted into the chamber. Subject 12 activated. End of transmission. He didn't move. Didn't speak. He wasn't a prisoner. He wasn't abandoned. He was a steward. The world wasn't waiting for him to escape. It was waiting for him to live again and again and again until it was ready. And for once, he remembered enough to cry. The last backup, Chapter 8, New Cycle, Log Entry 12, Final. It's been long and quiet. Too many questions, too few answers. But now I know. All I have to do is wait out the last 5 years. The terminal showed me something else, another facility, miles from here, housing the rest, at cryosleep, preserved, untouched. Once the terraforming is complete, I'm meant to go there, wake them, start everything over. A new world, a clean one. I'm the bridge between the old and what comes next. I thought that would feel heroic, but it doesn't. It just feels quiet. Still don't remember who I was. This is life, death I inherited. But I have this body. I have this time. I have me. Whatever that means now. Maybe I could build something new. Maybe I can learn to be someone. Maybe not. But I'll wait. I'll keep the lights on. I'll be ready. Signing off. Transmission ended. That was nice. I like the vibes. It was pretty cool. We put the book away for now. When you said how I'm used to it sounded usual. Yeah, I think it's just proximity to the mic. I'm able to that and just like talking lower. So that's cool. But this is nice. Good. Does it feel a little bit more cozy? I hope so. I have a cold or flu, ear infection, and strep throat. Not great. No, the German gremlins have me on the ropes. You know what? I'm sure like after this, your immune system is gonna be top notch compared to other people around our age. I'm convinced of it. It has to be. I started penicillin yesterday, and it no longer hurts to swallow. Great news. So I'm on the mend, but other symptoms linger. If anyone knows how to strengthen an immune system, I'm open to suggestions. I think you're doing it. I think getting sick will generally strengthen it, but it's not fun. You've been into sci-fi lately? Yes, I've always loved sci-fi, but on the subreddit at least, they seem to do a particularly good job. I very much like reading pretty much most stories from the subreddit, even the ones that aren't exactly what I would say is on brand for the channel or what I would ideally like for the channel. They still end up being pretty good and impactful in some way for the most part. There've obviously been not great ones, you know what I mean, but yeah, for the most part, I feel like they've been the writing here is a little bit better than what I'm used to. So that's nice. I think we're gonna take a quick break. My arm is getting a little bit tired of maybe I should start switching arms from holding this cup. Also, I might return with soju. I don't know. I have had soju for the first time tonight, and it's actually it's really good. I think it's like the best drink I've ever had. Enjoy your break. Thank you, Newt. I'll be very short. made you drink soju that had strawberry jam and yogurt in it. I forgot to ask her the recipe, but it was so tasty. It does sound tasty. I can I would like to try that. I think that would be. It sounds really tasty. Sorry, just recalibrating the model really quickly. Maybe the mouth will work a little bit better now, and it'll pick up some more of my movements. Yeah, I'd say that's a good start. I was shocked at how inexpensive it was. It's like $10 for a good sized bottle. I think it's on the lower percentage side though, but I was pleasantly surprised in that. I thought it was gonna have like kind of that sake aftertaste, that sake burn, but it didn't. And yeah, and now I can finally, after saying it for a while, I can finally say that I've had soju, which is it's pretty nice. I want to skip some of these horror stories that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a fair bit, which I'm a fan of horror. I think it's a fun genre and all. But yeah, go for something a little more relaxing. There's one titled Thirst that is fantasy. That just sounds like an interesting title. It's a little bit long, but that's fine. Thirst. No stream runs through, no lake nearby, just the well. It's the oldest thing here, older than the sagging timbers of the feasting hall, older even than the oldest stories of Grand Veneer tells by the fire, older than all of it, perhaps save for Lifflin, our dryad, silent within the heartwood of a great tree. She's older still, I'm sure. The well itself is sunk right into the center of everything, its wide, square mouth opening to the sky. Broad stone slabs line its sides, each one step below the last, narrowing as they descend. Step by step, down into the earth's cool belly, damp even at high bloom, but never ever muddy. The stone is worn smooth, dipped in the middle where countless souls have trod. Even on a moonless night, you can find your way down and up again without a torch, your feet remembering each familiar edge and hollow. The hot spring streams near the edge of our clearing. Not the kind of water that quenches thirst, but a gift for the craft Father has been teaching me. I spend most days there now, the heat of familiar prickle on my skin, learning the rhythm of it, selecting the best sage wood, straight-grained and true, feeling the moment the salt has been deep enough, transforming bell wood into something dark, hard as flint but lighter, less likely to shatter against stone or bone. Spring hardened, we call it. It's not as simple as it sounds. Father promised me my own spear this passing, balanced from my hand, its point honed sharp enough to draw blood from a shadow. Said I was ready for the hunt Lifflin permits each moon. One careful hunt, just enough to keep fat on our bones without souring the forest smooth. The thought of it, walking tall with the hunters, my spear whispering in my grip, has been a fire in my chest for seasons. But the fire being low when Father came back from the Elders' Council, his brow tight. We had to harden spears for the younger boys too. Bran, who still flinches when the wind rattles the thatch, wouldn't get one. It wasn't fair. I had waited Learn the patience of the stream, the fill of the wood yielding its softness. Why the rush? Nerves, lad. Father grunted, not meeting my eye. Everyone's jumpy. He wasn't wrong. The unease that had been creeping in like mist for a passing, maybe more, since the blackbirds arrived, not just scattering, but a flock, their feathers streaking the light, their eyes like chips of obsidian watching everything, always watching. From the hut roofs, from the fence post, from the highest branches of Loveland's own tree, their cawing scrapes at the quiet, sharp, and incessant. Try to chase one. They just hop aside, mocking. You throw a stone, and they just melt into the air, gone before your arm is halfway through the swing. Loveland forbids harming them. The elders mutter, stroking their worry beads. Strange, how they always fly straight back to her tree when startled, vanishing among the leaves like dark thoughts finding their home. The birds are a part of it. The other part is the silence where girl children's laughter should be. Or so the elders whisper when the berry wine loosens their tongues. Never got to hear it myself. Used to be the cradles held girls as often as boys. It's been like this for a while. No young women now. There's Loveland, of course. I see her sometimes, dusk or early mornings, moving silent as shadows around a tree, sometimes sitting on a branch just staring out into the woods. Her skin like moon-pale bark, hair the color of deep moss after rain. Beautiful, yes, but not in a way that invites touch or hungry eyes. Timeless. Forbidden. Not that I never thought of it, but not like, well, Brand's older sister. She was quick, sharp-tongued, smile like the sun, until 3 moons ago. They found her crumpled at the bottom of the steps, skull cracked open like a dropped pumpkin. Slipped clutching water after dark, they said. An accident. Such a sad, sad shape. The water ran pink for days and tasted strange long after. Still makes me shudder. Ran was strangely quiet about it, didn't see him weep even once. All boys now. Only boys. Rumor says it's been like this since the ghost went weird. Once or twice a passing a kid comes out wrong, 2 heads, limbs maybe twisted, stillborn, usually. Burned quick, hushed up. But this last birthing cycle. 3 of them. 3 horrid little things, slick and pale, bleeding silently from mouths that shouldn't be. Father needed me to help carry the wood for their burning. I saw one close up. Curled on the hide rat, both heads lolling, tiny legs twitching feebly. I was trying to live, despite the wrongness. It made my stomach heave. The blackbirds watched mockingly, cawing, always cawing. Maybe all that unease, all the quiet dread, is why Melifin found a foothold. She started appearing 7 moons ago. A rootless woman, setting up her small camp for a couple of days just beyond the clearing's edge. Always arrived right after the moon set plunged the clearing into its 15 nights of star-scattered darkness. At first, the elders kept her at spear point. Father stood guarding himself, wouldn't let her close to the old closer than the old crooked sage would. Too much strangeness already, he croaked. Don't need a stranger bringing more shadows. Mother agreed, her lips tight. Rootless folk walk paths we don't understand, son. They carry things best left unfound. But Maleficent, she was different from the gritty, ragged, rootless before her, or the broken families fleeing blights further out. She was young, alone, and beautiful. Not like Liflin's cool, plant-like grace. Maleficent was warm earth, sunlight caught in honeyed hair, eyes the color of moss just after rain. Her shape beneath her simple woven tunic, curves that promise softness, ripeness, a heat the village surely lacked. Or so the rumor quickly spread. I had yet to see for myself. She kept coming back, moon after moon, patient, never pushing. She had things we needed, remedies that cold fevers, spice that woke up the dull taste of sword roots, salt scraped from faraway caves. Father went once, desperate, when Mother burned with the screaming sickness. Maleficent gave him a tea, dark and fragrant, and Mother slept sound, woke clear. And after that, the suspicion didn't vanish, but it softened. The men started going out to trade, one by one. Maleficent assisted a lone woman, she'd say, her voice soft as petal, facing a group of strong men. I wouldn't feel safe. You understand? It made sense. She could be robbed of her stash or her dignity. So, they went alone. Traded tools, carvings, some made of her finest antlers, and even flowers. The pale blue whisper veg that grows only near Liflin's roots. Maleficent prized those. Reminds me of a place I lost, they told me she had said. The elders finally offered her space inside that clearing, near the edge. But she refused, polite, but firm. Smiled that heart-stopping smile. Too many strangers here, she had said, gesturing to the village men. From my side, you see, a lone woman felt safer keeping her own fire. Can't be a goat penned with wolves, even friendly ones. It sounded wise. It didn't stop the men from looking, though. It didn't stop me. I had to see her up close. Okay, I was very worried I did not unmute. I didn't know if the breathless whispers were true. Mother needed more fever tea. A good excuse. I managed to find some whisper veg. The clearing nearly picked clean, save for the area under Liflin where no one would dare. Liflin's camp felt different. Cleaner than the forest floor, the air scented faintly with unknown blossoms and wood smoke. And she was luminous. Close up, her skin seemed to catch a light that wasn't there. Her moss-green eyes held mine, a spark of warmth in their depths. Her fingers brushed mine as she took the flowers. A jolt, sharp and sweet, shot up my arm. She gave me the tea, a pinch of salt that tasted like lightning on the tongue. I felt reasons after that. Traded my first spring-hardened carving a dire bear for spices that made the pheasant taste like sunshine. I shared them with Brand's family at the feast. I remember his sister's excitement, that smile. Didn't look at her too long lest her father noticed, but glad she got to taste that before the accident. An elephant started calling me by name. Smiled just for me. Felt like it. Asked about my training with father, praised my strengthening arms. I started to think maybe I was her favorite. And then, last moon, came the strange request. She leaned close, her scent like crushed berries and damp earth filling my head. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Gonna do her a favor. A secret task. She pressed a small, smooth, dark stone into my palm. It felt unnaturally cold. A seed of sorts, she murmured. It needs nurturing. Could you bury it for me? Near the heartwood, Liflin's greatest tree. Not too close, but deep. Just shy of her canopy. Her eyes held mine, serious now. And water it. Just once. With fresh goat blood, a small cupful from the butcherings, and old rootless blessing for the health of the soil, the flourishing of the community. My stomach twisted. Burying a strange stone near Liflin's sacred heartwood, watering it with blood, it felt deeply wrong, a violation. Why? I stammered. She sighed, a soft sound. Your village feels precarious. The animals born wrong, the lack of young life. This is a way to ask the earth for balance, a gesture of hope. She smiled then, that soft, captivating smile. Think of it as planting a seed of good fortune for all of us. For all of us. It sounded helpful, maybe even necessary, but the wrongness lingered. Until I thought of Bran. Saw him strutting past the well after his last visit to Mephilan, touching his cheek, a smug secret smile playing on his lips. Heard the whispers. Maleficent had kissed him. Kissed Bran. What could he possibly have offered? Carves like he's chopping wood, his family has nothing. Well, except for his sister that they guarded from all of his boys like fire ants guard their mother. The jealousy burned like swallowed coals. If Bran earned a kiss, what could I earn by doing this vital secret task? Thank you, Eloise. More than a kiss, a touch. The thought of her soft bosom beneath my hands, the imagined warmth, it overshadowed the fear, the wrongness. Okay, now let me put down the mic, or actually I'll stretch with the mic, and then I'll drink a little bit of water. Thank you for the stretch. Let me drink some water. I'm thirsty. Of course, always. I don't know if you can hear me, but I have sweet dreams. Sweet dreams, my sweet little mushroom. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do it. I heard myself say. The words thick in my throat. Stilling the blood was easy. A quick dip of a horn while the butcher argued over shares. Never use all of it for sausages anyway. Bearing the stone that night felt like wading through thick water. The air near the heartwood hummed, watchful. The earth gave way easy under the shovel and spring-hardened myself. I dug quick, dropped the cold stone in, poured the warm, sticky blood over it. It soaked in instantly, leaving a dark stain that seemed to pulse for a moment before fading into the moss, like planting a piece of night in the heart of our home. The night before Mellifin was due again, the moonset had left the sky an inkwell of spilled stars. I stepped outside the roadhouse to piss. Sorry. The air cool and still. Something fluttered down from the blackness above, silent as owl flight, landed softly near my feet. Glowing, a faint pearly white light pulsing gently like captured heartbeat. I knelt, breath catching. A moon petal blossom. Perfect, 5-petaled, radiating a cool luminescence. Elders told stories of them. Flowers of high magic, found only on mist-shrouded peaks or atop the deep canopy. Glowing with the very light of the moon herself. Never down here. I looked up. Nothing but moonless dark and faint stars. And then a single sharp claw drifted down. A blackbird. Had it dropped this? My heart hammered. A sign, a reward. Dumb luck. I'd done the task, taken the risk, and now this. A treasure beyond reckoning. If I presented this to Mellifin, forget Bran, forget the others. This would prove my worth, my devotion. A kiss, a touch. No, something more, surely. Tomorrow, maybe she'd let me stay by her fire, share her blanket. The thoughts sent fire through my veins. Carefully, reverently, I tucked the glowing blossom into a soft leather pouch, hiding its light. Waiting felt impossible. I had my spear now, hard and true, leaning against the wall. I wasn't a boy anymore. I wasn't afraid of the dark path. That night, I would go find her camp. The moon petals' glow would be breathtaking in the absolute dark, a perfect offering. The fort felt different, knowing I carried both spear and magic. Sound seemed less threatening, shadows less deep. A small fire flickered ahead, a welcoming spark. She sat beside it, humming softly, grinding something in a small stone bowl. She looked up as I approached her smile immediate, radiant. My she murmured, her voice like warm honey. Venturing out into the deep dark. My hand trembled as I reached for the pouch. "I brought you something," I said, stepping into the firelight's edge. "Something rare." I drew out the moon petal. Its light bloomed, soft yet insistent, pushing back the orange flicker of the fire, bathing us both in its cool, silvery glow. She gasped and recoiled, her head flying up as if the tiny flower was a rattle adder poised to bite. "What is..." And in the pure light of the moon petal, I saw it. Truly saw it. The hand she held up wasn't smooth and lovely. It was withered, grayish green. The skin stretched tight over sharp, knotted knuckles. Long fingers tipped with thick, curving claws like shards of black flint. Breath hitched in my throat. I stumbled back, dropping the moon petal into the moss between us. There, its light touched her, the illusion shattered. The clawed hand, the hint of something predatory beneath her beautiful face, where the firelight still flickered on her other side. She remained Maleficent, warm and inviting. Two beings in one form. Her expression shifted, the warmth vanishing like mist, replaced by something cold, sharp, furious. She raised the withered hand, the claws flexing, and for a terrifying second, I thought she would strike me. Then, a sound. Not from her lips, but ripping through the air around us. A harsh, guttural, cawing noise, morphing sickeningly into garbled speech, human speech. Ka. Ka. Crinoline. Crinoline. Ka. Her eyes widened, a flicker of confusion, even fear crossing her beautiful face before the predatory mask slammed back down. I didn't think. I turned and ran, scrambling backwards first, then spinning and plunging into the absolute darkness beyond her fire, my spear forgotten on the ground. Crashed through ferns, stumbled over roots, the sound of that awful cry, an image of that clawed hand burning behind my eyes. I didn't stop until I burst back into the familiar dimness of our clearing, grasping for breath, heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I didn't dare to retrieve my spear until high sun, after the moon had risen again. The camp was gone without a trace, as if it never existed, and Maleficent didn't return. Not that moon set, not the next. She was gone. Life settled back into its uneasy rhythm. Father clapped me on the shoulder, proud of the 3 spears I had made. "Right balance. Light enough to throw halfway across the clearing," he commanded. We gave them to the younger boys. For the better, I was now convinced. Our clearing home may be weird, but there are stranger things out there. Scary things. Good spears ease the nerves. The more, the better. The blackbirds still watch us and call, perched on every roundhouse some days, scaring the pheasants nervous. Another goat bore twisted young. No baby girl was born. I never told anyone what I saw. Who would believe it? They'd blame me for sneaking out, for seeking her out alone after dark. Maybe they'd think I angered her, driven her away. They are mad about it. Thirsty. Not the kind of thirst the well water can quench. I kind of wish that the story would have actually gone on a little bit longer. What was the relevance? What was the relevance of the thing you planted? Of what was left behind? That's what I want to know. That's what I wish would be explained a little bit. I think I don't know. It seemed like maybe their guardian or whatever hadn't forsaken them. That I was still watching out, whatever that other being was on the edge of town in the forest. I think I liked it. That was pretty good writing. I wonder if they have anything else that we can check out. Let's go under their posts and see. The Oh, okay, they've just posted this. They just posted this not long ago. But hopefully it's one that they continue. I liked it a lot. I would like to certainly like to hear more from this author. All right. So, how does our mic in a cup sound? Is this still an adequate sound for ASMR? Is this something that we should continue doing while we're on vacation? Or is it better left until we can get our 2 mic setup back? I wonder. I'm trying to switch hands. I keep defaulting to my left hand, and it is getting tired. Let's see. I like the title of this one. It's titled Clear Like a Cloudless Sky. Ash, get ready soon. The girl's family are coming. Yes, I'm getting ready. Just give me 5 more minutes. When will you learn to do things on time? It's your wedding today and you're still not prepared. I hope she doesn't run away when she realizes what a lazy boy you are. She won't, Mama. She knows me very well. You reply with a light chuckle, and I finally start using my trimmer to shave off the beard that has been growing for the last 3 months. My to-be wife has been complaining about it, saying how sharp it feels when she kisses me on the cheeks. Well, she's gonna get what she's demanding for a while today. Amma complains for a bit more, and then finally decides to shift her focus on more important tasks. My mother is a very active woman, especially for someone in her 60s. Of course, she might moan from time to time about how lazy I am or how I delay things until the last minute. But she always makes up for it with her endless love for her only child. Life is hard for a woman like her, who lost her husband at an early age. But she never let that stop her. and did everything she could to raise her son to be the kind of man his father would have wanted him to be. And I might be biased, but I'd say she did a fairly good job at it. I passed from a reputed college, and now I work as the sales director of a reputed MNC in the city. And today, I'm getting married to my girlfriend of 4 years. They say that on the day of your marriage, you get a flashback of your whole life. How you got smacked in grade 4, how your best friend betrayed you and became friends with the person you hate most. Everything. But the most important, you remember the person you fell in love with, and remember how you got together and made dreams about a happy life with each other. I am getting the flashbacks too. Flashbacks of my one true love. My soulmate. Sakshi. Yes, in case you are wondering, Sakshi is a Hindu girl and I am a Muslim guy. We met first when we had both entered our current company as sales trainees, along with a mutual friend of us both, Amira. Sakshi was raised in a conservative household, and for the first 2 weeks, she didn't speak a single word to me. But soon, she opened up to my extroverted charms, and we became good friends. I think it was upon seeing her reaction when I told her about my father's death that I began seeing her differently from her friend. The look of pain on her face for a person she didn't know for even a month conveyed to me of how pure of a person she was. I slowly began finding everything about her attractive. From the way she talks with her regional accent to the way her hair falls beside her cheeks when she smiles. When we talked, I began feeling drawn to her, mostly to her eyes. The clear, cloudless eyes of her made me want to dive into them, to explore the depths of her heart and know everything that there is to learn. It was 6 months after training started that we confessed our feelings for each other and began dating. Life was good. We talked about our lives, became each other's pillars of support during troubled times, and naturally, the talks of marriage began after we celebrated our 2-year anniversary. Ash, how much more time will you take? I hear Emma's frustrated voice for the 1000th time today. Yes, I'm coming downstairs, Amma. I say as I finally stepped out of the room and go downstairs. And as soon as I reach the main hall, I see Sakshi standing there. Standing with a smile that could light up this whole world. Standing with my heart in a grasp. Hers forever to rule. Standing with a guy who I desperately wish was never there with her. Hey, Ash, Sakshi says with an air of awkwardness around her voice. Congratulations on getting married. Your mom must be so happy about it. I don't miss the hint of bitterness there, as she probably recalls the memory of what happened 4 years earlier, when we first approached our families about our relationship. Nice to meet you, finally. I'm Akash, that's Sakshi's husband. I believe we met before, at mine and Sakshi's wedding. Yeah, we did. I hope you're taking good care of her. Oh, he does take good care of me, Ash. I'm his priority. His number one, she says with a bite of hidden anger in her voice, probably remembering how I chose my mom's desire of getting a Muslim wife over our love. That's good to hear, Sakshi. I can clearly see that you guys have a stable relationship with tons of compromises. I beg to, hinting at how I begged her to change her religion on paper for our marriage. Yeah, we do compromise a lot. never compromise on things that are important to us, do we? Sakshi never agreed to change her religion, even on paper, because to her, it was her identity, her solace, her safe haven. Yeah, we never do. Anyway, Mira's family is here, so I'll catch up to you guys later, Sakshi. Yes, and say hi to Amira for me. I never interacted with her after our training ended. I should get to know her better from now on. I moved away without replying to her. I loved her once, and I still love her. But some things in life are never meant to happen, no matter how much you want them to. I move away, leaving those clear, cloudless eyes behind. I like that. Sad. Sad but good. Sad but good. Very nice. I think we'll do one more. And maybe I'll game. I don't know. I'm just have to have the laptop back and working. Okay. Let's see. You know what? We'll end on romance. A romance story. Seems to be a good length. Okay. The man sat inside the carriage, breath ragged, deep, uneven gasps as if each inhale asked permission to stay. His armor clung to him like old sorrow, heavy and cold. His sword rested lifeless in his trembling palm. Across from him, a woman, golden haired, radiant even through the dirt and rain. Some strands were tied back behind her slender pale neck, others fell over her shoulders, wet and tangled. Her red robe, soaked and muddied, clung to her form. Her legs outstretched across the carriage floor, bare feet peeking out. In her arms, she held their son, tucked against her chest, her chin resting on the child's back in a silent vow of protection. Outside, rain whispered over stone. The wheels rumbled against the road. Within, only breath, long, tired, and slow, moved between them. The lamp's amber glow painted them in hushed gold, flickering softly as the night passed behind the small window. Richard leaned his head back, resting against the wooden frame of his carriage. His hand trembled, his eyes burned, tears waited, poised, restrained. His chest ached from holding in more than pain. Everything. The sword slipped from his palm. It landed on the floor with a dull clang, not just still, but burdened. Not just weight, but war. He reached up and, with shaking fingers, unfastened the armor from his chest, each buckle like a memory torn loose. Piece by piece, he let it fall beside him. He was no longer a soldier. Not now. Not here. She lived. The child lived. He came back in time. He made it. And yet, how much had she borne? How long Yet her heart stood while his wavered. At bar of her feet carried not just her weight but their families. She never gave up, never doubted. Her strength was not forged of steel, but of spirit. Steady, unwavering. Richard lowered his face into his hands. How can I repay this? He wondered. How can I even begin to match the fire in her heart? She held on, he thought. Kept going when I wanted to fall. His eyes drifted to her feet, mud-caked, delicate, one heel torn and bleeding. A small cut marred her pale skin, his breath caught. How could I let this happen to her? He reached silently for a cloth, soaked it with water, and removed her shoes. Slowly, reverently. Her feet were cold. Mud smeared across her soles. He wiped them clean, gently, as if touching something sacred. He cleaned the wound and wrapped it with a bandage. Then, without thinking, he held her foot in his hands. So small, so soft, so tired. Inch by inch he massaged it, his fingers tracing each ache, each moment of her endurance. Leah stirred. Her eyes opened halfway, her body too weary to speak, but she did not resist. She felt his fingers, felt the care, and she gently pressed her foot deeper into his palm, not demanding, but accepting. She missed this touch. She needed his touch. He continued, and slow, reverent, apologetic. His heart ached with every breath. She waited for me, carried us. She saved us. And then his spirit moved, without command, without thought. He raised her foot to his face, and he kissed it. A deep kiss, silent, full of grief and gratitude. A kiss that asked for forgiveness, that offered devotion. He lowered it gently. Leah blinked, breath holding, her lips parting slightly in surprise. Even now, after all the pain, all the waiting, she was unbearably beautiful. Richard looked up, his eyes filled again. Slowly, he opened his arms to her, his palms turned upward, offering, not asking. Her hand trembled, but she placed it in his. He pulled her gently. She fell into him, as if gravity had always pulled her there. He wrapped his arms around her and held her, not with force, but with absolute surrender. His forehead met hers, and he broke. He wept, not the quiet tears of shame, but the deep, shattering sobs of a soul letting go. He held her tightly, shaking, pressing his face into her neck. I'm sorry, whispered, voice cracking. I'm so sorry. His breath itched. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. His arms tightened around her. Thank you so much. So much. For everything. His tears soaked her robe. I love you, he said. The words tumbled out one after another, his voice breaking with each. I love you. I love you so much. I love you, Leah. I love you more than I have words for. More than I ever said. His eyes clenched shut. He couldn't stand to look at her. Couldn't bear the weight of what he felt. And then, her hand. Soft. Gentle. She cupped his cheek, brushing his tears away. Her thumb moved in slow circles across his face. She leaned in, her forehead against his. Open your eyes, Richard, she whispered. Her voice broke through the storm inside him. He opened his eyes and saw her. Truly saw her. Her blue eyes, steady and warm. Her soft smile. Her breath steadying. He broke again. I'm sorry, he whispered. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. She smiled, brushing more tears from his face. I love you too, she said softly. My man, my husband, my hero. He trembled. You're so strong, he whispered. I'm so grateful for you. She placed her hand on his chest. I'll stand strong for you too, Richard. For us. For our son. For this life we fought for. She took a breath. I love you, she whispered again. And he froze, waiting. She leaned in, lips barely apart. Her eyes holding his like anchors in the sea. Welcome back. Okay. Thank you guys for coming out. Please let me know either this time, next time, on the social medias or in the Discord. If you think that we should continue doing ASMR like this while on vacation, with the mic in a cup, with the mono channels. I know the sound likely isn't ideal. I'm gonna listen back to it just to double check everything. But yeah, I know it's not our normal hours. Thanks for being here and dealing with a model mouth not being perfect. I'll try to fix that too, I guess. Yeah, I'll see you sometime soon. times that we've been doing on Monday, throughout the week. So at the very latest, I'll see you Monday. Have sweet dreams. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.
いつでもずっと